Now, my question to you is, briefly, we want to wrap up this, go for a break, and return to discuss the matters as far as the MPP is concerned. Now, tell me, very briefly, what are some of the key aspects of Bawumia's, paper that you would expect that government will take and work with? You. No, I'm asking you.
Oh, yeah. First of all, the first thing the government needs to take is the ability to control expenditure, fiscal responsibility. That's the first thing.
You're just listening there. Listen,
that's what
Bawumia,
I'm coming. That's what Bawumia pointed out.
Well.
That's the first thing. The second thing Bawumia is pointing out is that figures supplied by the Ghana Statistical Service are suspect. And government should be very careful. And the government itself confirmed in it. In fact, the biggest embarrassment that this Ghana Statistical Service has suffered is from the government itself, not from Bawumia. When Ghana Statistical Service painted, told us in the budget, and both figures are in the budget, that growth rate for 2014 was, as of September, was 6.9, and government came out to say, no, it's 4.6. Both are in the budget, this year's budget.
Now move on, what next?
That's the next thing. The second thing I want government to pick from Bawumia's lecture is that prescriptions of managing the economy and the solutions are supposed to be borne by us and not IMF. Thirdly, that government should find money to give to the various organizations, including ECG, VRA, Gov't Fund, Common Fund, and pay its debt obligations. Bawumia has also stated that.
And that we should not accede to the conditionality for job cuts.
Government, Bawumia also says that IMF has...
You are running away from that one. Should there be job cuts?
No, but that's what I'm coming to. Bawumia has also stated that the IMF is telling government that there will be job cuts. And in fact, when we met, the finance committee met the IMF, that's exactly what they told us. They told us that they don't see...
Already there's a freeze on some job.
I'm saying when they met us, they told us point blank.
A net freeze. Yeah.
They told us exactly what Bawumia said, that look, they don't see government increasing revenue too much. What they see is rather decrease in government's expenditure. And what they can see is government should win out a lot of organizations, SOEs, and secondly, government should freeze out some jobs and get out some jobs.
Thank you very much.
But I wanted Ricky to say something. Ricky, you have not been able to prove. No. This is a serious thing.
Those were errors.
No, he has not been able to prove that Bawumia made errors. He has not been able to prove that Bawumia is an irresponsible...
He gave you an example. He gave you an example which you disagree.
Can I finish? You disagree. I'm making it. I am putting on record that I want you to withdraw that statement that Bawumia's lecture is like an irresponsible journalist. Because you have not been able to prove anything. I've just told you that the figures are for your budget. So please withdraw it. It's not a full statement.
You haven't understood me.
Yes, explain now, understand.
You haven't understood me.
He says he's offended by that.
I am extremely offended.
He acted like an irresponsible journalist.
So you withdraw
by not cross-checking as at when he came
absolutely.
to...
That's what an irresponsible journalist will do.
Yeah, it's not.
So as far as you're concerned,
now you have been able to... Now
we are
I did tell you that
it's a big insult. You should withdraw it.
It's an eminent economist.
Yes, you said
so. So withdraw that one.
I expected better from him. I did not expect him to act like an irresponsible...
Can I ask a question?
Excited journalist.
What should we say about government officials who didn't bother to check whether the African Development Bank had indeed served notice?
Including the two of you sitting there.
Sorry. Now my last question.
So are you withdrawing it or not?
Sorry.
I am not. I am actually challenging Dr. Bawumia on his numbers here. Yeah. 700%.
So are you?
I want to say
no, it's been pointed out to you. He depended on the budget.
No, and I'm telling you,
the other figures he used is the numbers he used are from the statistical service.
I'm not disputing that.
They made administrative errors.
I will come to it.
The bank also said that they made some errors.
Yes, it's not in the budget.
That the 700 Dr. Bawumia has in his presentation is a wrong analysis.
It's not in the budget.
I am challenging Dr. Bawumia to sit down with him to prove to him that his numbers are wrong.
You fault his maths. He takes a view.
I'm not talking about economics. That's what he's saying.
I have a master's in economics like you, and I'm saying that Dr. Bawumia is correct with the figures.
Okay, now let's do it this way.
If you are not a gentleman, you withdraw it, then that's
I respect Dr. Bawumia a lot. Dr. Bawumia is an eminent economist. On this occasion,
this will be about the fourth time you are saying he's an eminent economist.
So let's raise the money.
You feel he acted
Dr.
like an
Bawumia
irresponsible
got it wrong.
journalist.
On this occasion,
He got it wrong. So you are rephrasing. He got it wrong. He didn't act like an irresponsible journalist.
Well, getting it wrong by not checking his facts.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Oh, I see you have gone there again. Now, my very final substantive question to you is: give me, say, list about 3 of what Bawumia did that government is taking with it.
Well, I think the issue, there are good things in what Dr. Bawumia.
Yes, list about 3 of them.
But you see, he chose the numbers he wanted to use.
Okay, we have dealt with that. We have dealt with that. Yeah.
Fiscal discipline.
Okay.
It's something that we all agree. We need to be, if we are going to get the macroeconomic stability we are looking at, the fiscal consolidation that we are talking about, then we need to have discipline.
What next?
The second thing is that we cannot turn IMF into a revolving door. And that, at some stage, we've got to look at how we can manage our own affairs and not keep going back to IMF. But a very important thing I want to point to you. You see, if you look at, I don't know whether this is, I don't know whether
there's an aspect. There's an aspect I want to know whether you take that one. He talks about the ballooning debts and how unsustainable that is.
Yes.
And you say you are doing smart borrowing. He shudders to think what not so smart borrowing would be.
Let me give you one example of smart borrowing. Smart borrowing is, and I go back to the Eurobond issue, of taking 250 million, which was borrowed cheaply, to finance 250 million out of the 700 million, which was more expensive, which gives us some
We have
savings.
issued bonds again. How many times are we going to continue to issue bonds? We just issued another bond, which is well oversubscribed. How many times? No,
we are issuing bond to refinance debt that was taken more expensively. What's wrong with that? That is prudent economics.
Okay, that's smart borrowing.
That is smart borrowing.
Of the smart borrowing.
And
okay.
Quickly, let me point something out here, because there's a lot of mischief into Dr. Bawumia's presentation. And I do respect Dr. Bawumia. I know he knows better, but he just chose to do certain things mischievously. Now, if you go through all the graphs that he's got, I don't know whether this is like academic exercise or
okay. So
but quickly,
I ask you to give me a list. When you are done with that list, we are done on the subject. Sorry. Right. Yeah, we need to move on. Thank you very much.
Can I just point out on these pages, because he has not referenced graphs that he has given in this presentation.
Okay, you've made the point. He's not referenced them. Yes. You expected that he would reference them.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. He's listening, and his aides who are listening. You can, let us know if he did reference them. Now, some of your messages here. This one says, of all the 53 African countries, why did the AFDB choose to make an administrative error with Ghana? Then this one too says, the AFDB confirms it was an error, which was corrected later. Why is government taking Dr. Bawumia to, asking Dr. Bawumia to apologize? This one from, okay. You're not identifying yourself. It's not good enough. You should identify yourself. No police is coming and arrest you for sharing your views in a democratic country, sharing your views in a responsible way. This one says, you can't even pay NHIS service providers. You can't even provide electricity for small cold stores. Many homes are in Dumso, and you are talking about electric trains from Accra to Kumasi. Another one from Aziz in Bimbila. He says the NDC government is taking Ghanaians for granted, and Allah is watching them and will judge them one day. This one from E. Ankra in Adidome says, I have a lot of respect for Dr. Bawumia, but I think he got it wrong. He needs to slow down. You two don't identify yourselves. You say, I am sorry to tell Felix Kwachi that he cannot match the track record of Dr. Bawumia in any way. Bawumia is 1,000 miles ahead. Please ask Felix what he was doing before entering politics. Okay. This one from Daniel in Accra says, Oyiwa Kwekubako, Allah will make you greater than great. Thank you for this memo. The truth can never be hidden. Then Justice from Kaneshi says, so are they telling us that the figures and data and graphs they publish on their website are full of errors and therefore unreliable? I think you are asking the statistical service, is it? And then this from James, he says, it is high time the NDC government took the renowned economist Dr. Bawumia more seriously. Well, Ricky Tegan is telling you that there are very important things that he says that they will take note of. Felix has actually also conceded in that regard. And I'll take a last one. Bawumia's expose is out there on our streets for everybody to see. We are only hearing them from him, but in reality, we are feeling it. And that's the note on which I'll end the text messages here, and also we draw the curtains on this subject. We'll be back and ask why the NPP, its own followers and important figures, are up in arms against affirmative action and positive discrimination. First time I hear affirmative action being rejected. We'll be right back.